Hey everyone, this is Rajendran here, joining from Market Calls. So today we are here for a very short discussion on integrating AMI Broker with AMI Pi, and what are the difficulties I faced while installing this AMI Pi, and how we have to make use of this AMI Broker plugin. So AMI Pi itself an very simple plugin, right? AMI Pi is a 64-bit AMI Broker plugin which allows you to call Python functions from the AFL side. So what is the major advantage of this 64-bit AMI Broker plugin is that it opens up a lot of possibilities when bringing AMI Broker functions, Python functions into AMI Broker. Right, so now we can make use of those Python libraries like NumPy, SciPy, TensorFlow, Pandas. So we can leverage the Python functions, and probably we can bring a lot more statistical functions easier use into AMI Broker. So that's what the major advantage is. It opens up an kind of a Pandora box, you can say like that. And I guess it's an next leap for the AMI Broker users. I've been using AMI Broker for the last more than a decade now. And yeah, this is, I would say that the AMI Pi is one of the greatest milestone they had achieved. AMI Pi is not from AMI Broker. It's from a third party. I think it is from third party vendor, and as of now you can go and download AMI Pi by just going and go to the Google and probably go and pull up the AMI Broker AMI Pi. You should be able to reach the forum. You can go and download the plugin from here. So you can go and download the plugin from here. This is a old release, but currently they had a release of 1.2, 0.1, I think 0.2 or 0.1.1. So you should be able to find in this thread. So here it is, AMI Pi 0.2.0. So this DLL provides lot many Python functions. Using that, we can interact with Python. Earlier, using AMI Broker, we can connect with Python using a very old legacy technique called Python COM server. But that is a very legacy technique, and that is a bit slow also. But this is more pretty interesting. I could say that the requirements here are AMI Broker 6.3. So definitely you have to be a licensed user. Then only you can make use of 6.3 version. So in order to download the 6.3 version, right, you have to go to AMI Broker website. So go to amibroker.com. Probably go to the download section. And so currently AMI Broker 6.3, the official release, is only available for the registered customers, right? So currently the free trial version is currently available only for the non-customers. They can download only 6.00 official release. However, AMI Broker 6.3 is mandatorily required to access AMI Pi DLL. So you have to go to the member zone, enter your login ID and password, and then you are good to go to download the release. So the version which you have to download is the AMI Broker 64-bit version. Remember, AMI Pi, as of now, at this point of time, it doesn't support 32-bit version. So you have to install the 64-bit version. That's what I had done. So I had my both 32-bit and 64-bit installed in my machine. So let me open the 64-bit edition. What I had done was, I went to that thread. I went to this thread and downloaded this zip file. Once I downloaded, I opened that DLL. So this AMI Pi DLL, I copied and I moved to my AMI Broker plugin folder. So 64-bit folder. So I'll copy it and then I move to C drive, program files, AMI Broker. Under AMI Broker, you have to go to the plugin, and then I copied and pasted this AMI Pi DLL, where all the AMI Broker plugin resides inside here. So this is the interface which is going to communicate with Python. What this AmiPy is going to do, let me give you a little bit brief. So basically, AmiBroker is going to be there. AmiBroker, which is going to send data, and all the data manipulations will be done at the Python side, and Python is going to send it back. So in between, the AmiPy is going to act like a bridge. AmiPy is kind of a bridge between AmiBroker and Python. So it's going to send the data. It's going to send the data. And AmiPy is going to pass it on to Python. And Python do all the calculations, maybe some complex calculations like co-integrations or some process or ADF test you want to do, or any complex statistical function, which is at this point of time, it's slightly difficult to implement with AmiBroker, but very easy to get it faster in Python, because a lot of statistical libraries, numerical libraries are available in Python, and it's pretty easy to deploy rather going and coding the entire logic in AmiBroker. Right? So fast of ease is there with Python. So hence data manipulation happens over here. So all your functions, all your statistical functions relies over here in Python. All the statistical functions. And the computation is done, and it will be returned back to AmiPython. So the computations. Oops, I'm pretty bad in writing. Computations. All right. And that will be passed on to the AmiBroker, which can be further used to create a trading strategies, or to plot those levels, or to explore those levels. So what are the functionalities now it opens up? So it opens up machine learning functionality. So the advantages are enormous. So you can use it for machine learning, or you can use it to do some sort of an regression analysis or classifications, or probably ADF test. So ADF test, or maybe you want to do a Johansson test, or various quant models, which is available only in Python, or R kind of programming language, which you want to make use of those things in AmiBroker. Those kind of things it opens up. And option Greeks, easily a lot of libraries are available in Python for European options, American options, or even for if you want to do some sort of an pair trading. Generally pair trading, many statistical models are available there. Stat arbitrage, so which is very easy to build in Python. So those kind of things we can bring inside AmiBroker, and the thought process is endless. What it can provide you is an endless creativity towards quant trading systems. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the example here, what I had done. So initially what I had done, I tried installing, I'm already having Anaconda in my machine. So Anaconda is an Python installer. So earlier I had 3.7 version, but later on I just updated to 3.8.1. However, Anaconda is not supported by the Anaconda. By default, it is not supported by the plugin, because it requires a standalone execution. So with this Anaconda installed, my AmiPy, the AmiPy which I installed is not detected at all. So I have to struggle a bit initially to set this get ready. Then I tried one more way of installing Python. So I went to Microsoft Store. So I went to the Microsoft Store, and then I tried installing Python 3.8, because Python 3.8 is the minimum required function. So that also I struggled there, because one of the DLL kind of Python 38.dll that is not available in that particular module. So Python 38.dll, right? So Python 38.dll. Python 38.dll. So if you go and search out the Python 38.dll, so you should be able to get those information. This is a mandatory information. Let's say Python installation path. Let me go to the Python installation path. So probably you can figure out the Python installation path if you are using any of the ID like PyCharm. So I'm having a PyCharm ID. Let me show you my Python 3.8 installation path, because that is quite mandatory to know about it. I'm also using in PyCharm as an IDE. Without this IDE also you can work on. Let me go to a new project. So here is my Python interpretation module here. So think about this one. So this is where my Python program is lying. So what I had done was, later on I finally installed Python module. I went to Python portal, so python.org, python.org. So this is where you can find the Windows download. So here you have to go and download the 3.8.5, which is supposed to be 62-bit, 64-bit, right? So make sure that it is 64-bit. The 64-bit, once you're downloaded with that, install it. So I had that installation ready here, over here. Already I downloaded the 3.8.5, I mean AMD 64. My processor is AMD processor. It's a 64-bit processor. So just installed it. So once the installation is done, probably you will be able to access, if you go to your command prompt, type Python, you should be able to see that the Python version is 3.8.5. So which also I had done that. After doing this, I am able to access the plugin. Now I have opened AmiBroker, automatically AmiBroker is able to detect that plugin. Until otherwise, the plugin is not able to detect, and I'm not able to use Python functions inside AmiBroker. So followed by that, let's go and check out this Python path. This is where the Python installation is done, right? So let's go and go to Windows R. So C drive, users / market calls / app data, or maybe I can type it over here itself. You can go to the path, cd space app data, local / programs / Python / Python 38. So if you go over here, the major DL, Python 38 DLL, ensure that this is there. So only if this Python 38.dll is there, then only you will be able to communicate. That's what I learned from the forum. So the creator of the Python is Kuba. So he is the guy who created it, and he instructed me to ensure that I'm able to get that. Probably here, yeah. So the AmiPy uses Python 38.dll, right? So if not present, AmiPy won't load. So after this, I just uninstalled all the versions of whatever I installed from the Microsoft Store, and then I installed the standalone Python edition, and I ensure that Python 38.dll is there. I ensured that a couple of more other things, like I installed AmiBroker 36.3, which is also 64-bit, Python 3.8, which is also 64-bit, and NumPy. There's NumPy is an library. It's a Python library, which will be used to process the arrays and numerical methods. So generally, so these are the basic mandatory requirements. And make sure that you're installing the standalone, not the Conda install or not the Anaconda install. Generally, that's not a good idea, and not even from the Microsoft Store also, because Microsoft Store, I tried to install, but that Python 38.dll was missing from the path. So ensure that you're having this path and now you are good to go with your very first Python function, right? So how I can access the Python function? Pretty easy. Let me show you without this IDE. I'll close this IDE. I'm just going to show you only with a standalone IDE. First of all, let me start with a very simple Python application. So here is the Python application here. I mean, AmiBroker AI application. I'll go and pull up the test AFL. Of course, it has to be all right. So what you can see from this function is you will be able to see two things over here. Let me hide this. There is a variable called plot close1, close2, where the AmiPy provides access to two major functionalities. One is PyLoad from file. This is one of the method which is used to call the Python function. This will execute that Python function. And to that particular Python file, so I placed my file inside the C drive Python code test.py. This function will try to load that particular function. I mean, load that particular Python program. And to that particular program, a value will be passed using this PyEval function. This argument will be passed, the close argument will be passed to the function add to. This is a Pythonic function. So let me show you that Python of test.py. So if I go to the test.py, let me open I'll go to my C drive, program files, I mean Python. Inside that, I placed it inside the code. So I have a simple test module. I'll right click, I'll go to, I'll edit, probably with Python IDE. It's not one. Maybe I edit with Python here. So you can see here it supports two different functions. One is add to. This is the function which we are sending values from AmiBroker. Maybe I'll pull this towards the right, and towards the left I'll pull it over here. So this is a basic test modules where to test whether the transactions from AmiBroker is working or not. From AmiBroker, I'm sending in a close value. So probably here is the close value. And the same function, one more time I'm calling, I'm just sending in simple number, maybe some number or anything else. So, but maybe let's say like I'll call this as a different number. Let's say data. So data equal to data. So I'm just sending that high plus low. I mean, maybe I can send an EMA value, EMA of close, 10. So what the Python provides is that in this method, we'll be able to do some computation and we'll be able to return back to the PyEval functions. So PyEval function pass the close data. The closed data will be passed. Closed data will be passed from here to here. It will be stored in the array. And the EMA close, 10, which is supposed to be the power. You see that the function I changed to data. So supposed to be the function in Python also should be data. And I'm able to pass the value of PyEval functions also over here. So this EMA close, 10 will be collected in N. And of course, it's supposed to be an array. So here initially they're sending numbers. If they're sending numbers, it can be stored under arrays. So initially they are sending some, let's say, value of 10, and that 10 is getting passed to the data. So however, if somebody want to pass any functions, there is a different method to do that. It's a very simple method also. Let's say EMA value, use this pi function, pi eval function. Using that, you send the EMA value, comma, and you can use something like EMA of close, comma 10. So we can do a simple operations here by, let's say, I'm just copying this function here. I can use like EMA value. Maybe I can get one more variable as well. So let's say EMA and EMA of close, comma 20 as well. So I can pass as many parameters I want. The Python eval function, I can keep on passing as many parameters. It can be an array, it can be a number, it can be a string, whatever it is. At the end, you can receive those values. Say array 1, you can say like array 1 and array 2. Array 2. We can receive it, and we can not only receive it, we can also process it. So we can process using, let's saying that array 1 equal to list of array 1. And array 2 equals list of, to convert into a list, so that you'll be able to use it as a simple data. You'll be able to access like the same data. We can do some operations and we can add it, and we can do some addition like array 1, and we can do some computations, like we can use it for further computations, and we can do some manipulation on these arrays. On this top of list, we can do some arrays. So like for example, co-integration. So in order to do co-integration, right? So let me show you one more program here on co-integration. So this is another program on co-integration. So which is trying to do a co-integration between two different symbols. So two different symbols, I'm just doing a co-integration. In fact, it is calling a particular Python function, and I'm sending a couple of variables here. So I'm sending symbol 1, symbol 2, I'm sending the bar index, I'm sending the symbol name and another symbol name. So multiple functions I'm just sending over here. There are 2 arrays I'm sending, 3 arrays in fact, 3 arrays and 2 string values, sim1 and symbol 1, symbol 2. I'm just capturing here in AMI broker, and I'm just passing on this to the Python function to calculate the co-integration. Of course, symbol 1 and symbol 2 is enough, but however, I thought of doing some sort of an AMI broker Python operations for testing purpose. So I just sent some more additional functions as well. I mean, some more additional parameters as well. So what it is doing here is that it is sending to AMI broker. AMI broker is sending the values to Python, and Python is doing the computation, and it is returning back as the co-integration value. So not only that, here, if you see this code, right? So this is the code of a simple function here. Maybe if you go and check out the PyCharm function, you'll be able to get to know that the same main Py function, it uses co-integration. Later on, I'll show you the co-integration function as well. A very interesting one as well. However, let's come back here. For time being, I'll just send array plus 100 or something like that. I'm just simply sending this addition value, and then I'm just sending those array values. So let me receive it. While receiving it, what I'll be going to do, while receiving end, I'm going to do this EMA val. I'm just going to plot that EMA val. So plot EMA val, comma EMA. So here I had saved the code and apply the function here. So if there are any errors, automatically it throws that errors. So what was the error shown? Okay, indents. That default array is not done properly here. So if there's any indent error, so you know that, right? Python takes that indentation seriously. So if there are any indent error, Python will throw an error. So I'll save that indent. There was a small indent error was there. Hopefully now there won't be any error at all. So one more thing we are trying to send here. I'm just trying to send the EMA value, and also I'm trying to send the value over here. So maybe it's trying to send an pi error because when you are sending in list, right? So it's better to do some sort of an operations like maybe, let's say for time being, I'll make it as simple. So close and high. Open that PyCharm. Let me open one of my recent projects. So this is what I had done in one of my projects where I had received all those values, index symbol 1, symbol 2, and then I try to compute the values over here, values of co-integration. I had done an ADF test. So ADF test, and then I just passed on the co-integration value. I sent it back to AMI broker. So that's what the co-integration is trying to do here. So the co-integration is trying to do the same thing over here. So this is what the co-integration is trying to do here. All right, so where in co-integration, I passed all those values and I'm able to get those values. The result is that it finally ends up sending back as the ADF values over here. Whereas in the test AFL, I don't know why it's sending an error. So EMI error occurred, function called Python error can only concatenate list. So maybe I can do a very simple operation for time being. Without converting into list, I'll just simply send an value here. I'll just save this. Let's not convert into a list. So now it's workable. I'm able to get those values, those EMA value. I'm able to send it to AMI broker, and AMI broker plots the same thing and it returns back the close plus 2 and EMA value. So which I'll be able to, I'm receiving all these values from the Python, right? So it's not plotting from directly from the AMI broker. I'm sending it to Python and then the same value is getting returned back and those values are getting plotted over here. Whereas in case of a co-integration, slightly a complex operations are handled at this point of time where I can right click, I'll go to parameters, I can input 2 symbols and those values are computed from there. However, when you are doing some kind of co-integration kind of functions, right? So you have to be pretty sure that you are turning off that quick AFL. So if the quick AFL is on, what happens there is that maybe the co-integration value, if you try to compress, you see that the co-integration value changes. So which actually should not happen. If you want to do that, in that case, maybe if it is required, you have to turn off the quick AFL as well. So that will, maybe that will take a little bit of computation, but that's fine. So what you'll be able to get is an the value of co-integration will not change in that case as you scroll in more data points into your screen. So let's look into some of the functions which are provided by the installation. So one more thing is that you have to install NumPy. So you can install NumPy by going to the command prompt. So open your command prompt and then type pip install NumPy. So again, that is a mandatory thing. Everybody should do that. So in my case, already the pip NumPy is installed to the latest version. I also had an installation of SciPy, Matplot kind of libraries. Some of the libraries like SciPy ensure that you are already having that installation, or pip install matplotlib. Again, mandatory functions to plot the charts, and these days Dash as well. So if in case if you haven't heard about Dash, just go and search out. It's a very interesting function, which just go and install it. I'm already having it inside my Anaconda and PyCharm functions, but however, this is globally I haven't installed yet. So just go and install Dash. So maybe we can look around Dash functions, how one can create an important and interesting applications using Dash, especially for data science lovers will love Dash kind of applications to build charts or streaming charts faster. So anyways, so the functions which is going to support here are, one is the pyload from file. This is the file we have to give the path file, maybe an the path. You have to give the actual path to that file. Inside that function, you have to pass it as and pass the actual file name path. It can be a .py file, or it can be a compiled .pyc file also. It doesn't matter. And the subsequent function, pyeval function, it can take multiple arguments. Like one of the example I had showed you, like 5 arguments I had passed. One is 2 arguments over there, 2 arrays, 3 arrays, and then 2 strings I passed over there, which I am able to do the computation in PyCharm as well, and then I return back to the AMI broker. So let me show you some more something interesting here. So the PyCharm here, I'm going to disable some of the plot functions. So this code is computing the co-integration, and I'm just going to pass on to the function co-integration. Co-integration computation is going to happen over here, whereas the data will be passed from AMI broker, and this computation happens over here, and the entire execution happens over here. And finally, the return of A1, which is the final co-integration value, that will be returned back to AMI broker. So let me run the code here. So code should not have any issues. Make sure that code is not having any issues. Of course, code is not having any of the issues. Now I'll come back to AMI broker. I'll open the code and I'll try to apply the code. So now we'll be able to see that it's getting the values over here. So obviously, automatically it's getting those values. All these values are getting plotted from the matplotlib from PyCharm. So that's one interesting thing. Like I'm just collecting all these data points, right? I'm just collecting from AMI broker, and I'm able to plot those values from AMI broker. I'm able to call that from Python function, and that Python function is trying to plot using matplotlib the same entire Reliance chart historically, right from the start. I'm able to send the Reliance and the Lupin, the same plot I'm able to get in the both in the AMI broker as well as in the matplotlib using Python. So these are some of the example functions. However, the thought process is endless. At this point of time, I guess the plugin is very young and new. I guess in case if you are interested, you can go back and download AMI Py and make sure that you go and provide your inputs to the AmiPy library. So highly, I think the guy is a bit energetic when it comes to responding and then creating modules, assisting the people. So, however, there is only one restriction is there. You need to be an AMI broker licensed user. And as of now, it works only with 64-bit. All right, so that's my experience with AmiPy. And yes, I've been experimenting. I have a lot of ideas to build different strategies. So very soon we'll be coming up with such kind of strategies. Thank you for coming by, and hope you learned something new in today's session. Thank you once again.